Welcome to the Viper Miner channel. Today I want to go over what I think everybody's pit in their stomach is on price. First, I want to say my heart goes out to everybody in the Ukraine. No one should ever have to go through any kind of conflict like that, period. That's just my personal opinion. And I'd like to kind of look at the elephant in the room with Bitcoin. Bitcoin originally was supposed to be, digital gold, right? So during any kind of geopolitical unrest, inflation, you name it, Bitcoin should have been at minimum, right, at the same price as it was yesterday or the day before, right? It shouldn't have been falling down. Especially, I mean, with an invasion of another, from one country to another country, right? The Bitcoin you would expect would have gone at least up, if anything, not down, and at least stay the same. But I think, sadly, if Russia would have had invaded Ukraine 4 or 5 years ago, we would likely see that, right? We would have seen probably Bitcoin at least stay stable or gone higher. So what changed? What changed over these years? Unfortunately, I think the reason why we're starting to see more volatility within Bitcoin is because it's becoming more and more mainstream, right? And first of all, I also want to point out, this is not financial advice. This is my opinion. And please do your own research, do your own due diligence before you put any of your money to work. All right. So, like I said, Bitcoin's becoming more and more mainstream, and crypto is becoming more and more mainstream, right? It's being used in metaverse. It's being used for transactions. It's being used as investments, and well, that then brings in larger institutions, hedge funds, mutual funds. You can even get IRAs now with Bitcoin or other currencies, cryptocurrencies in it, and not even pay taxes until you pull it out. I mean, because it's a retirement account, so it's in your retirement funds now as well, which then leads more to more regulatory, right? And that's when the government and governments around the world start looking into crypto more with a fine-tuned comb to kind of like look at things. And then you start getting more and more companies starting to accept it, right? So if you look at Tesla, MasterCard, I could buy Tesla with Bitcoin. I can set up my MasterCard to accept Bitcoin or use my Bitcoin. This is a big shift from individuals, miners, and the people who wanted to just be part of the blockchain and be part of the infrastructure is now being shifted into the professional trading firms. This becomes good in some aspects and bad in some others. So now Bitcoin's more tied to the stock market. I mean, because once you start getting Wall Street trading billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin and other currencies, they look at this as a risk asset right now, right? So they're right now, with all the geopolitics going on in the world, risk assets are off the table and flocking to safe haven. Now, you would think Bitcoin would be a safe haven, but I think it's too new still, and it's too tied to what's going on in the stock market, and it's been tied as a risk asset. So that's, not digital gold at this point. I mean, if you look at gold, gold is going up, but not Bitcoin. So you have, when it's risk on, the market's going up, things are going good. The firms use and hold Bitcoin as an asset, and when they turn around and have to start selling off assets and defend other assets, they need capital, so they raise capital, and so they sell off their Bitcoin. And you can see this now. I mean, if you look at the stock market, you can trade Bitcoin via ETFs. You can trade it in futures. You can trade in the spot market, or otherwise known as the Forex market. And once you start tying Bitcoin onto the other side of something else, it's now a commodity that's being traded. It's a currency almost. It is a currency. It's a cryptocurrency, obviously. It's a digital currency, but it's now being traded by large institutions. And then you have some very large institutions who are trying to manipulate it. There's an investigation right now that the Federal Reserve is looking at some large institutions looking to see if they're actually doing fraud with using Bitcoin and Tether. So there's some issues there. I think in the long run, I think this will be good because a more transparent, more in the sense of, where no one can manipulate the price, no one can, that's probably good for, moving down the road, right? So I wanted to look at a couple charts. So I wanted to look at Bitcoin. So there's a lot of, depending on who you listen to and what, talking head you listen to, you have different views. Bitcoin can go all the way down to, $5,000. I don't see it happening that way because of the stock market, because you have these big funds, they look at charts, right? So if you look at Bitcoin right now, this is a live chart. It's not doing that good right now, right? And this is a year chart. But so we have support right here at, let's see, the close was 35,180.44. That's support. So if we can hold support, then I think, we can probably ride out what's going on over in Europe. If we don't hit that, if we break that support, our next support line's over here at 32,409. So that's, a little significant drop there. If you look at ETH, a similar picture, but we're going to go to, we have a little more room to move. So 2411, and then we have a very large drop. We have a double bottom right here. And so that, the good news is that's usually very good support. The bad news is that's significant downward trend for us. And if you look at the trade view here, the volume of trading is definitely up. So if you kind of figure that's, this dotted line here around 2305 in coin is the, average volume. We jacked up the last, from the 24th of February to 20. Yeah, so this is I'm sorry, this is a 1 minute chart. Hang on, let's get off this chart. This didn't hold the daily chart on me. Same thing here. You look at volume here is just rising, and it started rising around January 22nd. So about a month we started seeing increased volume in here, right? We had a couple spikes, and you'll look, these are traders. So here's a big downward spike in volume, right? Look what happened to price, right? Same here. And what I don't like about this chart is the large ticks in volume are negative. Most of it was on the sale side. So if we look at Bitcoin in that sense at TradeView, and it's probably gonna, let's flip me back to the 1 minute chart. Let's go back here. We got a heavy volume obviously today, but we've had very similar pattern in what's going on. So then if you go back and you look at cryptocurrency, some of the smaller ones, so look at Doge. Doge is down the last 7 days to over 20%, right? Look at even the Polygon network, it's down 25%. Litecoin's down 23%. Just in the week, right? 18% for Bitcoin. Ether is at 21%. So you are going to see all these altcoins are basically tied to Bitcoin. So that's what you're going to start seeing. Even Polkadot's down 21%. I was going to look at Raven. I don't know if Raven's going to show up in here, but we can look for it. Raven got slammed last night. I got alerts for Raven. It was down below 5 cents. It was 4 something. But you know what you're seeing is, let's look at last month here. What you're seeing is it's just tracking. It follows Bitcoin. It needs some basis on price, right? So unless there's a pump and dump, which we don't want, yeah, it's, you know, it's doing it. And so Bitcoin trying to recover a little bit today. So it's Raven coin. And I think you need to stay calm, you know. And I think the other thing too is, as miners, you need to know, I can't stress this enough, you need to know where's your break even, right? If you have to pay for your power, where's your break even in price, right? You know, I have X number of hash rate that gives me, you know, a monthly tally in coin, which equates to fiat. Can I cash that out still and pay for my electric bill? If you're paying your electric bill through your mining proceeds. If you're not, well then, you know, stack them and hold. Yeah, that's what I would do, and that is what I'm doing. I'm lucky. I mean, it can go down pretty significantly even from here, and I'm still pulling a profit. So I will hold as much as I can, and if need to, I will shut off rigs, but I'm nowhere near that point. But you need to know where that point is for you, right? Unless you are going to can afford and keep that electric bill, you know, being paid by other means, as your job, as your main job, or as a side hustle, whatever your deal is. Just make sure you know what that is. The last thing you want to do is go in debt for this, right? Not financial advice, but my personal opinion. I am not going to go in debt for a cryptocurrency. But you need to know where that is at. And then so the other thing too is you have to look at, is it cheaper to, if you really believe in a coin, is it cheaper to actually just buy the coin outright? So I was up late last night, as I always am, because I'm trading overseas markets. I saw the alerts come across for Raven coin, and so Raven coin, you know, like I said, dropped down to 4 cents, and you know, some ridiculous number of digits across the right hand side of the decimal point. And I turned around and it's like, hey, this really would help my cost basis. So I turned around and I bought, you know, another 5,000 coins worth of Raven coin. But I personally believe that Raven coin will eventually recover. And if it doesn't, then, you know, I'm out some cash. But it's cheaper right now for me to buy Raven coin than it is to mine it. So I am going to take the route that's most benefit to me. So do keep that in mind. So even though you might have to turn off your mining rigs, there are other ways to continue to still be within and participate within the cryptocurrency world, right? So do check that out. The other thing too is I highly recommend having multiple exchanges, because I do find that during volatile times right now, the exchanges have slightly different rates and they have different fees, right? So depending on what's going on and what coin you're at, the fees can be significantly different. So do take advantage of, you know, arbitration between that, and make sure that you're getting the best deal. Anyway, I didn't realize, and I apologize, I keep saying leave, you know, comments in the thing. I did have, because I do have, I know there's 2 younger viewers that are under 18 that do trade cryptocurrencies with the permission of their parents, and they like to watch the videos. So I put OK for kids, which actually then turns off the comments. So I'm gonna not do that for this video, and I will see if I reached out to those 2 individuals, because I do know them personally, and I know their parents, and I said, you know, I'm gonna do this, so you may have to let them be on their account, or however that they want to handle that. That's their business. Anyway, so you should be able to leave a comment this time around. Have a blessed day, and my heart and prayers are going out for Ukraine and everybody involved, because I mean there should be no bloodshed in this. With today's society, we should not. I think we're more involved in that, right? All right. Have a blessed day and enjoy your upcoming weekend.